Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm so thrilled to be back here. This is Dr. Uche, your Dr. Booktuber. Today I'm so excited because I am reading a children's book. As you know, I come here to review books I'm reading to inspire you on your reading journey, but I also once in a while do feature a read aloud of children's books. And today I have a fabulous book sent to me by the author, and this is Zikora's Moroccan Rug. Zikora's Moroccan Rug. I'm so excited. I can't wait to read it. But before we start, if this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome, welcome. It's great having you. And if you're coming back, it's good you were able to drop by again. So, before we go ahead, remember to hit subscribe so that you will be able to follow and know when I upload new videos. Either I discuss grown-up fiction or I read children's books, as I mentioned at the beginning. But before we go ahead, I want to tell you a little bit today about the author. The author of this book is Jennifer Nwokeji. Jennifer Nwokeji is an educator and author who is passionate about making positive impact in the lives of young children, especially struggling children. As a second career educator, her life's goal is to see that young children believe in themselves and reach their full potential. She's happily married and blessed with 2 children. This is beautiful. And this is all about a young girl called Zikora. Zikora's Moroccan Rug, again by Jennifer Nwokeji, illustrated by Anak Bulu. So let's dig in. How exciting! This is dedicated to all children who dream and have great imaginations. Special thanks to my family, Margaret, Amara, and Watermark Studios, Nigeria, for all the support and encouragement. Okay. All right. So, Zikora always looked forward to sleepovers at Granny's. She got to have dinner with her grandparents, listen to Grandpa Amar's stories, and get tucked into bed by Grandma Chichi. This weekend sleepover was a special one. Eka and Dara were sleeping over too. Grandpa Amar had just returned from a trip abroad, and he got souvenirs for his grandchildren. At dinner, Zikora had so much catching up to do with her cousins. They ate together, shared jokes, and talked about their schools, friends, and new toys. They looked through the phone pictures they took since the last time they saw one another. There was so much fun and laughter at Granny's house. Grandpa Amar was ready to share stories. Come, children, sit and listen. Your grandpa is about to begin, Grandma Chichi called out. Zikora joined others on the living room floor. She listened to Grandpa Amar read stories about African landmarks, animals, languages, and culture. The stories were interesting and funny. Grandpa Amar soon finished reading and handed out the souvenirs to the children. Eka's and Dara's were neatly wrapped, and with Grandma Chichi, Zikora's was tightly rolled. It was a carefully woven purple Moroccan rug with a yellow star and blue dots. It smelled like dye, but Zikora loved it so much. There was something about her rug that made it extraordinary. Okay. I want to see Africa, Grandma. I want to see the landmarks, big cities, small villages, animals, and people that Grandpa told us about. I want to hear Arabic, Swahili, French, Yoruba, Zulu, Oromo, Portuguese, and other African languages, Zikora said to Grandma Chichi as she got tucked into bed. Africa, you know there are 54 countries in Africa. It is the second largest continent in our world, ZZ, Grandma Chichi said with a surprised look. You may have to fly over the Atlantic Ocean or the Indian Ocean or the Mediterranean Sea or even the Red Sea, depending on where you're coming from. How about putting your imagination to work and see one country at a time? You can start from Morocco, where your grandpa got your rug from, or you can imagine how it will be in Nigeria when we travel for your aunt's wedding later in the summer. Yes, Grandma, I can't wait to attend Auntie's wedding and see our whole family again. Mom and Dad are always making wedding plans and dream about Auntie's wedding all the time, Zikora giggled. Zikora thought about Grandma Chi-Chi's suggestion. She wanted to see where her rug came from, and she had the right vehicle to fly over land, oceans, and seas. As she closed her eyes, her journey began with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora opened her eyes and saw that she was above a cliff with a large stretched waterfall. The sound of the crashing waters was so loud that Zikora had to wear earmuffs to protect her hearing. The air was humid and foggy. Tourists were touring with a tour guide and taking pictures. Where could this be? Zikora asked eagerly. This must be Victoria Falls at the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe. She took out her selfie stick and took pictures of herself by the amazing waterfall. She listened as the tour guide talked about Victoria Falls. How beautiful. Just like Grandpa Amar had read, Victoria Falls is the fall of the Zambezi River between the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe. It's the world's largest waterfall and one of the 7 wonders of the world. Victoria Falls is over 3 million years old and has never completely dried up. Can you imagine? Wow. As the water falls off the cliff, it deposits into the Indian Ocean. A special rainbow called a moonbow appears over the fall during a full moon. Zikora took a few more pictures with the tourists and waved goodbye. She could not stay longer to see the moonbow. There was so much for her to see and do. Where do I go next? Zikora thought. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora opened her eyes and saw that she was at the top of a crater covered with snow. It was so high above the ground, and there were pockets of clouds around her. It was so magnificent, yet so cold. Zikora had to put on thick clothes, a wool scarf and hat, snow boots, and thick mittens to keep herself warm. Where could this be? Zikora wondered. This must be Mount Kilimanjaro, Tanzania. I am in the same country where the Serengeti National Park is. So amazing. She could see 3 mountain climbers celebrating their arrival at the summit. She looked around to see if there were any animals or plants, but did not see any at that height. She looked down and saw some green in the distance below. Just like Grandpa Amar had read, Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa and also the world's tallest standalone mountain at over 19,000 feet. It is a dormant volcano with 3 volcanic cones. The last time Mount Kilimanjaro erupted was over 120,000 years ago. Mountain climbers say it is an easy mountain to climb compared to other tall mountains in the world. The rainforest before the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro is home to different insects, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals, including the blue monkey and colobus monkey. Zikora waved goodbye to the mountain climbers descending the mountain. She couldn't stay to climb down Mount Kilimanjaro with them. Where do I go next? Zikora asked herself. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora opened her eyes and she was on a hot air balloon safari flying over the most amazing plains she had ever seen. It was so sunny that Zikora had to wear a safari hat and sunglasses. There were so many exotic wild animals in their natural habitat. She looked through her binoculars and saw an elephant, a wild beast, gazelles, a lion, a giraffe, a rhinoceros, a leopard, a Cape buffalo, a hyena, a zebra, a crocodile, a hippopotamus, a cheetah, and ostriches. Where could this be? This must be Masai Mara National Reserve, Kenya, Zikora whispered, trying not to disturb the animals. There was a group of tall people far away from the wildlife. They were dressed in red cloth and beads. She looked closer at the rhinoceros to see if it was a black rhinoceros or a white rhinoceros. It was a black rhino. It had a pointed upper lip and short front horns. She also observed the elephant. It was an African elephant. It had really large ears. Just like Grandpa Amar had read, Masai Mara National Reserve is the home to many African big cats, like lions, leopards, and cheetahs, and other African animals. It's a huge ecosystem with several species of plants and African animals. The natives of the land are called the Maasai. They take care of the reserve. The natives of they stop poachers from hunting the animals and destroying their habitat. Tourists visit to observe wildlife on safari rides in hot air balloons and safari jeeps. Zikora wanted to observe the animals a little longer, but it was time to leave Masai Mara National Reserve. She waved goodbye to the people and commended them for preserving the reserve. Where do I go next? Zikora asked herself. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora opened her eyes and saw that she was on a sailboat with a tour guide. A bit farther away were three large, tall pyramids. It was a captivating sight. It was so peaceful that Zikora got a fishing rod and began fishing. There were plovers flying around. Wow, where could this be? This must be the River Nile and the pyramids of Giza in the city of Cairo, Egypt. The plovers may be looking for a Nile crocodile's mouth to clean, Zikora whispered, trying not to disturb the fish. Just like Grandpa Amar had read, River Nile is one of the 7 major rivers in Africa among Niger, Senegal, Congo, Orange, Limpopo, and Zambezi. It is the longest river in the world. Its major sources are from Lake Victoria's shore in Uganda and Lake Tana in Ethiopia. River Nile passes through 11 African countries and deposits into the Mediterranean Sea. It is home to different species of fish, Nile crocodiles, soft-shell turtles, lizards, African rock pythons, and other reptiles. The River Nile is Egypt's main source of fresh water for domestic use and irrigation. Zikora felt hungry. It was time to leave. She said goodbye to the tour guide and released the fish she caught. Where do I go next? Zikora asked herself. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora opened her eyes and saw that she was at a party. There were fancy dressed people in beads, headgear, wrappers, kaftans, abadas, and boo-boos. Zikora put on some beads and then she got herself a plate of dodo, party jollof rice, and I'm not sure what this is, asun maybe. She also got herself a glass of zobo drink and joined the party. Where could this be? This must be a Nigerian wedding party, Zikora exclaimed. After prayers were said for the bride and groom, Afrobeat music played from loudspeakers, and guests began presenting gifts to the couple. The couple performed a choreographed dance with other dancing groups dressed in colorful Nigerian costumes. There was a lot of eating, drinking, dancing, and jokes by the master of ceremony. It was a happy place to be. Just like Grandpa Amar had read, Nigerians celebrate customary weddings in grand style. After the couple agree to be married, the families of the bride and groom exchange gifts and agree to be one family. The group presents a symbolic token known as a dowry to the bride's family, and the couple's parents bless them. The new union is celebrated with other family members and friends in stylish traditional dresses, music, dance, and lots of food. Zikora felt sleepy and needed to relax after all that partying. She waved goodbye to the couple and guests. Where do I go next? Zikora thought. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora opened her eyes and saw that she was at a beach with tan sand, clear waters, coconut trees, and Sega dancers dancing to Sega music. The sea breeze was cool and fresh. It was so refreshing that Zikora put on a beach hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen. She climbed a nearby hammock to enjoy the scenery and sip from a coconut. Where could this be? This must be one of the beautiful beaches in Mauritius. An excellent spot to relax, Zikora said with sleepy eyes. As she relaxed by the beach, she took a power nap. Just like Grandpa Amar had read, Mauritius is one of the African island nations among Madagascar, Seychelles, Cape Verde, Sao Tome, and Principe. This is a French words, and Comoros. It's a small country in the southeastern African coast of the Indian Ocean. It has lots of sugarcane plantations, eucalyptus trees, white and golden beaches, coral reefs, colored sand dunes, amazing music, and great dancers. Mauritius is an excellent vacation spot for snorkeling and scuba diving. Zikora woke from her nap feeling energetic. She still had places to see, and it was time to leave. Where do I go next? Zikora thought. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora opened her eyes and saw that she was by the most breathtaking sculpture made from steel beams. It was the face of a great man, Nelson Mandela. It was so detailed that she took out her selfie stick and took pictures to show her family. Where could this be? This must be Nelson Mandela capture site, Howick, South Africa, Zikora exclaimed in awe. She flew around the beam sculpture and observed that the face of Nelson Mandela faded away as she moved. It was a brilliant optical illusion. Just like Grandpa Amar had read, Nelson Mandela Capture Site has a magnificent sculpture of the face of Nelson Mandela. Made with 50 carefully positioned steel beams, it reveals the face of Nelson Mandela when viewed from a particular point. The sculpture was created in 2012 by Marco Cianfanelli to honor Nelson Mandela 50 years after he was arrested for fighting for freedom and equal rights in South Africa. Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 25 years. After his release from prison in 1990, he became the first Black South African president by democratic election. He was the president between 1994 and 1995. Zikora saw it was getting dark. She had to get a souvenir before heading home. Where do I go next? Zikora thought. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. You said it. Good job. Zikora opened her eyes and saw that she was at a craft market with maze-like walls not too far apart. There were colorful rugs, hats, bags, cushions, jewelry, and handcrafted leather decorations, all for sale. The crafts were so magical that Zikora wanted to get one of every item with the little money she had. She spotted a rug almost identical to hers. Where could this be? Oh, I know. This must be Medina of Fez, Morocco. Grandpa got my rug from this market, Zikora said in excitement. She smelled dye in the air and heard donkeys braying in the distance. Just like Grandpa Amar had read in Arabic, Medina means city. Medina of Fez is a preserved old city with so much Moroccan history. It's known for its leather tannery, narrow maze-like streets, tall walls, and few cars. In the old city, donkeys and carts are used for transportation. Tourists visit to admire and learn about the preserved ancient history of Arabians. They shop at the souks and take camel rides in the Sahara Desert. Zikora got herself a tiny purple purse as her souvenir, then headed home. As she flew home, she thought of all the amazing places she visited and the stories she would tell her family. Where do I go next? Straight to bed. I just had the most exciting but exhausting trip, Zikora said with satisfaction. She closed her eyes and put her imagination to work with her Moroccan rug from Grandpa. Zikora was in bed quicker than she imagined. Her Moroccan rug laid close to her. She was so tired from all the traveling, but she still had thoughts about her next tour. What an adventure this has been! I have only seen a bit of 9 African countries. On my next trip, I should visit Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Tunisia, Rwanda, Ethiopia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Comoros, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, Gabon, Zikora thought as she drifted off to sleep. Hello, friend, the author writes, or Zikora's writing. Can you remember where I went? What did I see? What did I do? What did I learn? The pictures can help you remember. If you had an African tour on my Moroccan rug, where would you go? What would you see? What would you do? And what would you learn? My African map can help you on your tour. From Zikora. What a charming book. And there's some pictures here for a child to color, and also pictures depicting the various African countries. So for example, I know this is Mountain Kilimanjaro. This is the Victoria Falls. I'm trying to remember if this is Kenya. This is probably the safari in Kenya, and this is the Nelson Mandela capture site. And this is this is Mauritius, or is it the Seychelles? And this is the market in Morocco. So I remember those just from having read the book. And here's a map of Africa. Very, very informational book. Very often people refer to Africa as a country, but it's a massive continent. It's the second largest in the world. It has 54 countries. So nothing could be further from the truth. It has possibly the greatest pool of human diversity. Ask your mom and dad what that means, okay? So this is a massive country, and I love this book so much because it tells you about just a few of them. Yes, it's a lengthy book, but I think it's a book that you would easily read, or have your middle schooler, even a child that old, read to learn about different countries, see different flags, and just have their mind opened and broadened, and see that there's so much to see on this lovely continent. So again, this is Zikora's Moroccan Rug by author Jennifer Nwokeji. We are so grateful for her. She sent me this book all the way from, I believe she's in New Jersey. I believe she's based in the northeast of the USA. I'm in Colorado. She sent it to me all the way to read. And we thank her for sharing her talent with our children on this channel, and really the children of the world. I love reading books that educate and inform and teach a lesson, especially when it comes to my read aloud with children. So thank you so much again for joining me, Dr. Uche, your Dr. Booktuber. Before you leave, please hit subscribe and follow my book reviews as I upload them, and also my read alouds for children once in a while. I so enjoy coming here to network with you, and I wish you well, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.